Everybody. My name is Mohammed. It's nice to be here again. It is an honor and a privilege, to stand before you and then do one of the presentation that has, impact my life, that has really changed my life, for good. Why you should travel. How many people has ever been overseas before? Please raise your hand, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. How many people has never been overseas? Has never been overseas?
Yeah,
okay.
kind of. Just in the Caribbean.
What's overseas?
Right.
Okay. How many people have have traveled out of state, to go visit different places? Yeah. I guess. Yeah. Okay. We all believe we all believe that travel is something which is very hard. It's very difficult. It is risky, but travel is necessary in everybody's lives. At least everybody should travel one time in your lifetime. You should go overseas, learn about new things, networking, get to know new things, and then that will help. I have a video. Let's check on that video.
Noticing, realizing it for yourself. After all the packing, the goodbyes, the tears, the journey, the confusion, the shock, before finally stepping outside without a bag strapped to your back and breathing in a different air, a different time zone, a different culture. With the sun, it takes a day, even a week. Some won't even realize until they get back to the 9-to-5 routine. If you go back, of course. You may walk into the office and your best friend at work will say, "What's new?" And you'll be stuck for words. Because what you've just realized is that what you've done over the last few months was more than you've ever done in your life. It's a change. A realization that we are some of the luckiest people on the planet. To have the ability to sit in a metal tube for 12 hours and touch down on the other side of the world, to be able to work for a few months and see these incredible places that some would only ever dream of seeing. The realization that you're lucky. You're lucky that the places you'll see, the things you'll do, and the memories you'll make will stay with you forever. And not only that, but you're lucky that you'll share all these things with incredible people from all around the globe who've all made the same decision. They packed a bag. They jumped on a plane to a far-off place for exactly the same reason you did. The journey.
So this was just a little video to shift to shift your mind, to take an action, travel. So I have chosen 3 different points to explain you why you should travel. You should travel. It is very important in your life. So educational aspect. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that for those who cannot do long studies, you cannot do long studies. You should travel more often. because when you travel, pushes your educational horizons. You know, you're gonna learn a little bit. You're gonna learn a little bit about everything. You're gonna learn once you go overseas. Once you travel, you learn about politics. You can learn about science. You can learn about everything, the history of the places that you will visit. So sometimes traveling is a school by itself. It's a school by itself that you will learn. So and you will learn about new culture. It was very hard for me when I first got here to adapt myself to the culture, to adapt myself to the people. It was really a different lifestyle. Everything was new for me. So you have to adapt yourself. In people culture, and that will give you self confidence. And then you will get a lot of things out of that. Travel opens your eyes to the world. Once you travel, you learn about new realities. You learn about a new aspect. You learn about new things. Because it's only when you travel that you will be able to know what is really happening on the other side of the world. And the travel will help you learn a new language. Without traveling, I won't be here today standing in front of you do this presentation in English. I couldn't speak English 6 years ago. I couldn't speak even one word of English. But because of traveling, I learned in a new language. I learned in a new culture. I learned how to interact with people. I learned different things. And the values of network and perspectives. Travel will give you a lot of values. You will get the chance to network. As they say, the man's side, the person's side is just the people you know. It's the people you interact with. It's the people you have in your list. That will help you. As they say too, even now, when you're looking for a job, it's easy to find a job where you are known or where you know people there than when you don't know anybody. That will have a lot of effect on your life. Perspectives. If you don't travel, you don't understand people. You don't understand how others people will think. It's only by traveling that you will get to know that others people are not thinking exactly the same way you are thinking. You will get the reality, and you will understand that everybody has a different point of view, a different ideas about everything. So travel will create meaningful relationship. As I said, travel will give you perspectives, and then travel will get you out of your comfort zone. Your first enemy, that's your comfort zone. Your first enemy, that's yourself. Even today, before we wake up, or before we give up, to what we were doing to come inside the class, it was hard. We couldn't, if we could, we won't even be here. Actually, we came here with a lot of, anxiety, with presentation to do and all this. That's getting out of your comfort zone. Whatever you want to do in your life, if you are in your comfort zone, you won't be able to realize it. You have to get able to leave your comfort zone, to do what you want, to try to achieve what you want. If I stay in my comfort zone, I won't be here today. I'll leave my country, I'll leave my mom, I'll leave my dad, I'll leave my brothers and sisters, I'll leave my childhood friends, I'll leave all that. That was comfort zone, because nobody doesn't change. I wanted to stay back home, but the risk to travel to learn something, that's more important than staying home, because at the end of the day is paying off, because I'm learning a lot of stuff. I'm being to places that I've never been before. I'm learning a lot of new things. So travel will challenge you. you know, it will challenge you. You will find yourself like in a lot of situations. If you are by yourself, like, you know, if you have like, you know, your family surrounding you, you're not gonna put too much effort on it. But once you find yourself like, you know, facing a lot of stuff, you will be able like, you know, to do them, and that's how you will like, you know, you will move forward with your life. You know, travel develop your skills, the skills that you don't even know. You know, we all have skills. We all have hidden gifts. It's up to us, like, you know, to get out of our comfort zone and go and get them. They're not going to come to us. We have to get out of our comfort zone. And traveling is like, you know, one of the things like, you know, that can get you to know the skills that you have, the skills that like, you know, you have in yourself that you never know. And then like, you know, travel helps you like, you know, to learn about like, you know, who you are. You know, once you're not surrounded with anybody, you know, you will fight for yourself. You will stand up for yourself. You will speak up for yourself. I still remember, like, you know, that when I got lost, this was like, you know, 6 years ago when I first went to Ghana. I was like, you know, to learn English. I still remember that. I got lost, like, you know, one day, you know, by catching the bus. You know, it was hard for me. I spent like almost like, you know, all day trying to find my way out. Trying to find like, you know, where I was coming from. I couldn't like, you know anywhere. But you know, from me being like, you know, lost in those areas, that gave me like, you know, of course, like, you know, I got frustrated, you know, I was mad, but I got out of it. You know, that gives you like, you know, a lot of like, you know, you're gonna learn about yourself. You're gonna learn about what you are capable to do, and then like, you know, your limits and everything. You know, and travel prove that dreams like, you know, come true and give you a sense of accomplishment. You know, like I never believed like, you know, one day I will be like, you know, in an airplane. I used to see the airplane, you know, in the sky. You know, I used to see it in the sky. I never believed one day I would step like, you know, full like, you know, in an airplane to travel like, you know, to a different country. You know, when I was a kid, I didn't have like, you know, that chance. I used to see my friends. I used to see my childhood friends. Some of them parents like, you know, used to send them like, you know, to vacation. They used to visit like, you know, France. They used to visit different countries. I couldn't get that chance because my dad like, you know, was the only one in his family like, you know, to be able like, you know, to make it to school and then have a good job. So I was from like, you know, an extended like family with a lot of people, cousins, like, you know, brothers and sisters. So he had like, you know, to take care of like, you know, all these people, and then at the same time that limited like, you know, a lot of chances that I could get. But at the same time, since I was a kid, like, you know, I always dream, I always like, you know, see myself like, you know, to different places. And then I knew like, you know, that time like, you know, my time will come. One day I will travel too, you know. And then like, you know, that's something, you know, that's something that has really changed my life. It has really impacted like, you know, my life. You know, for me, this was like in 2015. This was like in this campus. Like, you know, it was an International Student Day. Like, you know, it was for me finding myself with different people, like, you know, from different countries. Actually we got more than like, you know, more than 10 people, or like more than 10 countries or 15 countries, like, you know, represented right here. You know, that's like, you know, was amazing. And this happened just last week, this International Student Day. That's happened at like, you know, at Metro. You know, traveling has changed my life. And then like, you know, I challenge you today, you know, for anybody who has never like, you know, been overseas, please, I beg you, like, you know, get your ticket, write it down on your note, like, you know, and then take that first step, which is going to change your life. You know, that was my presentation. Thank you very much.
One quick question. Can you comment on the following quote? If you want to learn about history, travel to other countries. How would you comment on that quote?
If you want to learn about history, travel to?
Travel to other countries.
Yeah. History, because history, that's we heard about history, maybe in our classes, maybe like from our teachers. But once you travel, that's how you really feel history. That's how you will get to see the places where it really happened. For me, when I got here, one of my dreams was to be at Lincoln Memorial. That was something that I learned back home from history, but I couldn't believe 6 years, 7 years from now that I could be there one day. I could be I could be standing at the same place Martin Luther King had this famous dream, famous speech I have a dream. If I didn't travel to come to United States, I will never experience that. That will prove that once you travel, you learn about history.
Okay, thank you.
Another question?
Since you travel a lot, do you have any tips on how to do it? Because some of us don't have money, stuff like that, everything like that. Do you have any tips how you can get there? The first step to traveling, maybe where you would go or stuff like that, or programs, anything like that.
Yeah, you have we prepare everything. Life is
Right.
it's just preparation. You have to get ready for it. You plan ahead, and then you write it down among your goals. Because we all set goals. If you don't, you have to start doing it. Write down your goals every day or every month. That's this year. This is the goals that I'm gonna reach. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do everything possible to make it happen. So once you write it down on your calendar, the first step is just to get ready for it. The first thing which is difficult, which is really difficult about traveling, that's the cost. The cost, the ticket. That's the only thing which is really difficult. So
Right.
you can get ready. To get to collect money, ahead, and then plan for it. Plan for it. Once you plan for it, then you come.
Right.
You come.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Say it when you're done, if you can go ahead.